Hello everybody, my name is Aud and welcome back to the Aud Narrations channel. Today we're reading a few stories from a guy whose wife has cheated and he wants to know what the next steps be. Now unfortunately some of the original posts are no longer visible, or I think they're archived, so if any of you know how to get archived posts, please tell me. I've collected a few of the posts together and let's make a start. So the first one is titled 1.5 years later and update, and the story obviously is called Wife Cheated, Next Steps. The post reads, "Hello, I've been a lurker here for a little while, trying to process the infidelity in my life. Long story short, my wife and I have been married for 8 years, together a few years longer total, and have 2 small kids. This year has been tough, and we have had our arguments, but nothing that I would ever think would push my wife to cheat. Anyways, I noticed her lately being distant and uncommunicative, and decided to confront one evening. At that time, she said she was not happy and couldn't feel a spark anymore. At first, I freaked out on myself, thinking I was being a non-attentive husband. Truthfully, an issue. However, the next day, I caught a very strange message on her phone that was extremely lovey-dovey. I took a look and then found that my wife was messaging a man for a long time with lots of I love yous and plans for a future together. Fucking destroyed. Anyways, taking the advice of the many threads on here, I didn't confront initially. I actually read as much as I could, contacted a couple lawyers for advice, one now on retainer, and got my head on straight and calm. I confronted my wife a couple days ago calmly and asked if she was having an affair, and after a couple minutes, she admitted everything. Long story short, it's been going on for about 6 months, and she claims it's the deepest emotional connection ever. Complete bullshit, but whatever. To end all, I gave a list of boundaries, cut off contact, marriage counseling, etc. The thing that I think is the final nail of an honest attempt to reconcile is that she got extremely aggravated with cutting off contact, especially when I told her to do it in front of me, and even insisted to see him one last time for closure. I fucking held my ground and told her that if he's so important, pack a bag and go live with him, to which she backed off, but not before she told me that I was a controlling asshole. Anyways, she sent a text this morning and showed me, but my spidey senses seem to think she'll try a different means of communication. I'm thinking there's no hope, and I honestly don't want it at this point, but I just wanted to be able to tell my kids in 20 years, I at least tried. We have marriage counseling tomorrow, but I'm thinking it's time to file before wasting any time or grief. I'm cautious to move too fast because of my kids, but is this the right way to do it?" Right. The next part of this story is titled Wife Cheated, Next Steps, Part 2. And they write, "Hi everyone, I just wanted to give a quick update, and the original thread can be found at the link below. Obviously I've already just read it. The past few weeks, simply put, have sucked. But it's given me time for a lot of soul searching and thinking. As an update from the previous thread, the wife and I did attend some counselling after the initial confrontation, and I will say this particular counsellor has been very good about listening to both of us and not assigning blame or anything like that, and helping us navigate our new reality. She's also helped to uncover some structural issues in our relationship, and while that doesn't at all excuse my wife's behaviour, it's helpful at least knowing for our future relationship and not repeating the same mistakes. As also mentioned in this thread, my wife's initial reaction to the boundary cut off for contact with the affair partner appeared to go unheeded, and I did catch some small messages between them before she completely went dark with her chat logs or phone. After seeing that, I decided to file, and she was served a few days ago, and in parallel, I decided to have a heart-to-heart with my father-in-law, as we were super close and I needed to prioritize this support for our kids versus our relationship, as I could see my wife wanted to sweep this under the rug. Needless to say, my wife was initially extremely upset. Her fantasy was blown up, but our therapist did talk it through with her from my point of view on why this needed to happen, and I think that she's starting to realize the consequence of her actions and starting to see that there are real things that are going to be lost. From here on out, I'm just trying to process the new life ahead and the huge change in my identity from a husband or father to something else. Same with her. I will say since I filed, my wife was immediately shocked when I dropped that on her and has been very emotional these past few days. I honestly think she thought I would never be able to walk away. I've kept her at arm's length, but I have seen some distinct change in her, and on a positive note, we have talked more, kept our conversations civil, and focused on shared priorities, the children mostly. I've made it very clear to her that she left a huge wound on me, and that she has to do the heavy lifting to help repair and give me space and time, if I can ever begin to forgive. I'll say it again and again, her actions are the most selfish, self-centered, horrible thing you could do to a person, but I have not lost sight that we will still need to raise our children, and that is my focus point as I navigate how I'll move to the next phase of my personal happiness. I wanted to thank everyone for my previous comments and insight, and I'm honestly proud that I found the strength to not wallow in self-pity, anger or sadness, and I was able to make the right moves to retain my dignity and look forward to a bright future. I honestly don't know all the next moves, and my feelings are constantly in flux, but I'm starting to feel some inner peace. Thank you all again. Okay, the next part of this story is called Wife Cheated Saga, the unexciting conclusion. And they write, "Hi everyone, as of today, there is some closure coming my way in my saga that started over the summer, and I've been posting getting advice from everybody here. I just want to start off and thank this community for the incredible support and advice, especially to those folks who privately messaged and offered words of wisdom along the way. This is a crappy process to go through, especially when close family is far away. It sucks to be alone with your thoughts, but there is some wisdom and introspection to gain during this. For those that need a recap, one of the many threads is below, but the TLDR is that my wife cheated and tried to hide it. I found out, realized that there was no hope as she was deep in the fog with the affair partner, and immediately filed on her. Right. Anyways, the past few months have been frosty, but relatively drama-free, as the soon-to-be ex and I separated our lives in the house, but still did things for our children. The discovery and mediation process proceeded pretty quickly. We agreed on 50-50 for our kids, along with schedules and holidays. Since it's a no-fault state, asset division was by the book, and with some give and take. I won't go into details too much at this time, maybe another post in the future, but I'll be finding a place soon for a fresh start. The final conclusion is on the horizon, but for the most part, the divorce is complete. Number 1, don't bother with the pick-me dance. I tried for a week before wising up to her cheating. My soon-to-be ex is still in the fog, but it's her decision, and she needs to live with it. Number 2, do lawyer up with an experienced family law attorney who is reasonable. I can't say enough of the person who took care of me. Understanding that this is what I want versus reality was important in converging to the end. I don't have any crazy ridiculous fees, as I did a lot of the prep and avoided hours and hours of back and forth, and this was able to be settled rather quickly. Number 3, do lean on friends and family for support as much as possible. Number 4, working out/exercise is key to keeping your mental health. I hit the weights a month after D-Day, and I'm starting to reap the benefits, and that confidence has been helpful to get across the finish line. Number 5, get into individual counseling and talk with someone. This has helped me tremendously. Number 6, I realize this from all the posts I read, but the cheaters' decisions are all on them. I heard it all from my soon-to-be ex. I was a roommate, I love you, not in love. Our marriage went so wrong, I worked too much, blah blah blah. Truth be told, now that I know the timeline, our marriage went wrong after she invited someone into her life that was feeding her lies to stroke her ego and giving her extra attention. And she had to put up walls and make me the bad guy to justify this in her mind. Sure, she may have been stressed from kids/day-to-day life in a long-term marriage, not communicating to her husband and confiding in a 2-time divorcee/cheater with no moral compass is all on her and a recipe for disaster. The exciting final chapter of Captain Sacknuts/Fremont AG's/5-year plan Sid, affair partner, is yet to be written, but poor choices carry consequences, and that is all I will say on the matter. Again, thank you everyone. I still have a lot of work ahead, but also many adventures in this new chapter of life. I hope I can return the favor to anyone who needs it. Please reach out if anyone needs a helping hand. I am here. They add an edit in the comments for the previous post, reading, "Hi everyone. A year ago, I posted what was the end of my divorce experience, and also prior to formally moving on to a new place and starting a new chapter in my life. Almost 18 months ago, my future crumbled before me when I inadvertently discovered texts on my wife's phone that uncovered an affair with an industry co-worker. The one I have described many times as the OMB. Don't know what that stands for. Heartbroken and not knowing where to turn, I posted for the first time ever to help, and the rest is history. I've reached out many times since then, and as always, this community is gold and has helped me through an extraordinarily difficult time. I, in turn, have tried to offer the advice I gleaned through the experience, and I will continue to do so. I thought 1 year after the conclusion of one chapter into another, official divorce and moving out, I'd give one update as things have finally stabilized in this latest chapter. I'll continue to offer out advice, but I think I've reached the point where I think I've learned and pulled what I can, and time to further turn over a new leaf. I'll always post a juicy update when I can, but for now I will mainly be here to help others through their journey." That's very honourable, OP. I've mentioned previously that I was in individual counselling, and I learned from her that life is full of seasons, and to have one full calendar of seasons to process the life and change and divorce. After my 4 seasons, my therapist had a parting to our normal sessions, and I may pop in every 6 months or so. She basically said that I'd reached a great spot, so advice number 1, find someone good to talk to, and do the hard work. Romantic update. Ooh. So, about 5 months ago, I decided it was time and fired up some apps just for fun. After a couple months of comedy, frustration, head shaking, and some fun, well, I don't have the greatest love story ever, just like my OMB and the ex. However, Through the muck and wasted dates, I did meet someone, and we both had a great time going out and being spontaneous the past 3 months. It was a great adventure, and it really helped recover some of the confidence that was torpedoed by my ex. We had some personal and cultural bridges that couldn't be overcome, and in the end we recently parted ways like adults. Seeing other good people out there and ending something the right way has really helped me not paint the world in all black. So I'm thankful for that. I'm probably going to take an extended break and let the world work its magic on its own, but I needed to experience this to grow a little bit. No regrets. I don't have too much else to add. My kids are doing fantastic through it all. At least I can say that the ex-wife stays out of my business and we can communicate cordially about the kids. I've had some very lucky career and financial breaks this year, and my sanctuary, aka new house, has come along beautifully. I'm sure you all want to know about the OMB. Well, that hasn't imploded and unfortunately permeates more and more into all of this with everything now Facebook official. My kids every now and then mention him, which grinds my gears, but I just ignore it and ask them another question. I did get a "who's blank blank blank's uncle" on her Facebook profile. Questions a lot, which is hilarious. Honestly, I've stopped giving it energy. 2 lying cheaters found each other. No great love story began by crushing another person. I pity the 2 people that have to try to trust each other knowing they can't trust each other. I'm surprised it's lasted this long, but I guess someone's looking for a 3rd divorce. I wish I had more of a juicy update, but sometimes progress is boring, and I like that. I think my final hurdle is still getting over the loss of my family, aka in-laws. I went through this Christmas holiday. You haven't really lost, sorry, just as an aside, you haven't really lost they're still your kids' grandparents. And I'm sure they still love to be involved with the kids' lives, even if it's a little bit awkward. But I'm sure they'd understand. I went through this Christmas holiday without my usual traditions with them, and honestly it hurt. This was a time of year I held dear. I started some new ones, but it's been a learning lesson. Watching people that were supposed to be there for you show their true colours. Oh well. Alright folks, that is all for now. Thank you for getting me through this past 1.5 years, and I'm here for anyone who needs any kind words or advice. Cheers and a Happy New Year, y'all. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to you too. It's a little bit late, but hey ho. Right, so what do you think OP should do? What would you have done in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Alright, thank you very much for listening, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.